Have you ever asked yourself, how could I have a more successful retirement and make sure that my lifestyle is put in place, what we call locking in your lifestyle? In this video, I want to go through how you can avoid a ready, fire, aim retirement and instead lock your lifestyle in. And I create documentaries. Retirement Everest is our newest one, Retirement Deception we came out with a little bit ago. And we expose some of the myths that are out there, and we focus really on what most people should understand coming down Retirement Mountain, and that's what Retirement Everest we go over. Now in business, I have businesses and there's risk with business, and I actually like creating businesses quite a bit. I've always wanted to be an entrepreneur and been one ever since I've pretty much graduated from college. And during my time, I read this book called Ready, Fire, Aim. And on a business level, I think it's a fantastic book when you're starting out, right? 0 to 100 million in no time flat by Michael Masterson. He has a lot of really good stuff. And the concept of the book is, basically here it's ready, fire, aim, not ready, aim, fire. And he focuses, and one of the biggest parts of the book that helped me, which is, hey, go focus on one product, right? But don't wait around for the perfect business plan and get everything perfect. It's like, just go do and implement, right? Of course, you can have mentors and figure out who's already done it and follow suit, but more people lose time by just waiting around, right? And so it's more than that, but as you can see, I've read this and I've got notations in it, as you can see here, and I've implemented a lot of the stuff from businesses that I've started from scratch. Now what I'm focused on, and what I believe is so essential, is talking about this lifestyle lock and ensuring that people understand this retirement danger zone. And so I want to go over a strategy, or kind of talk about a metaphor today of how do we switch this to actually be, in retirement, we don't want it to be ready, fire, aim. We actually want to have ready, aim, and then we implement. And the way that really happens is understanding, again, this idea of what's the most difficult financial puzzle that you're going to have to solve, okay? And so, again, in these other videos, I've drawn this out. This is a horrible representation of Mount Everest here. But right here, most people who get to the top of Everest, right, they think that that's the easy part. This is the most difficult part. This is where the danger begins, is coming down this mountain. That's the most difficult piece here. And so, do I want to just kind of ready, aim, fire, or do I ready, fire, aim, right? Do I just want to go down the mountain and hope that I get to the bottom, roll down? Not when it comes to my retirement. There's two things that ensure a successful retirement, okay? One of those is having your lifestyle locked in, okay? The second is having peace of mind. If you have those two things, that ensures that you have a successful retirement. And so how do I get to that point? I get to that point by turning the odds into my favor. And that's by having a plan, okay, that prepares us for coming down the mountain. And I've been here. I'm still here, I'm in my later 40s, right? I'm getting to where there's a day that I may want to retire. I've been so focused on the accumulation piece, which I should be, right? I'm not saying you shouldn't focus on this, but I've now need to start understanding that once I get to the top here, that's where the danger really begins. So I need to start my preparing here, okay? I need to start to prepare right up here for when I get to the top and I have a plan for coming down. I don't want to start preparing down here, or if something happens to me, then I think about having a plan. When I get to the top here, I want to have a plan for coming down the mountain, okay? And for us, it's what we call a decumulation plan, okay? Decumulation. And what decumulation stands for is the spending down of your retirement assets in the most efficient way possible, and if possible, the safest way. And so efficiency is part of the safest way. And so for that, I want to have a plan that helps reduce or mitigate what we call the 7 decumulation risks in retirement, okay? Not all of them can be eliminated, but I can reduce and mitigate some, and some eliminate. Some, I'll never do that if I don't have a proper plan. And so the whole point of this actual video is understanding, most people go into retirement with the wrong type of plan. They go in with an accumulation plan, and they don't focus on having a plan for coming down the mountain. And if you don't have the right guide to do that, this is why you should watch Retirement Everest, because we have a whole piece of where we interview people that actually have come down the mountain, hikers, and they all say the same thing, that what got you to the top isn't necessarily what's going to get you to the bottom. And it's important to have a plan to get you home, right? Not just to the top of the mountain, because now you're more tired. You could have the sun go down faster if you get up here too late. There's just a lot of elements that can hit you, right? You have less oxygen. So you're dealing with increased dangers coming down the mountain. And it's very similar for what we call here in this retirement danger zone, which is the five years before and the 5 years after you retire. You could even probably extend that to 10 and 10 just to be safer, right? So for me, I'm starting to prepare now. Like, I'm starting to put those things in place. When I get to the top of this, I can just look down and say, I have a plan to get to the bottom. And I have peace of mind, and I have my lifestyle locked in. That's what's going to ensure my successful retirement. That's something you're interested in. We've created a process called income calibration that can show you actually how to go through that process. Okay? Reach out to us, and we can schedule a time, and we can have somebody talk to you about actually creating a plan. If it's not us that you talk to a decumulation specialist, someone who prepares you and focuses on the descent coming down the mountain, and make sure you have the right guide for that. Because it really is important, because it's going to be one of the most difficult financial puzzles that you're going to have to solve coming down.